So there is this doctor who I recruited 1.5 years ago, and she is at that junction now. She intends to continue with CESR, stay in the non-training job. I said, like, think about CCT or SC4 application. She's post MRC Psych. What's your recommendation, Madan? And Raja, you share your version as well.
Um, it depends on your choice as far as what you want out of your job and your personal life. For me, I had MRC Psych before I moved. So I had a choice before I moved countries whether I want to enter into a training pathway or I want to do CESR. The thing that attracted me, and it's funny you mentioned initially that you're going to ANSIPS, because I was recruited like that. Navigo came to ANSIPS and I was presenting a paper at ANSIPS where Navigo sort of offered me a job and we had a conversation, but I was only first year in my MD training. And I said, it's 2 more years, and you're not even a teaching hospital. So if I'm taking up a job with you guys, then I'll need to do CESR. And they're like, yeah, whatever you need. And the fact that they were this supportive was what was the main thing that led to me making the choice to actually go for CESR, even though I had the option of entering into the training pathway. And I don't regret it for a second, because the fact that when I moved countries, I got into a job where the trust that I worked with was fantastic. The team was fantastic. I still am in really, really good terms with the medical director there, Dr. Amir Sajjad. I think Raja might know him. He's the treasurer for BPPA. Um, so it depends on what you want, how happy you are with the job where you're at. Do you want to move places? CCT is also, to all my friends who've done training, they've really enjoyed their training years. They've really enjoyed the special interest niche that a CCT structured program provides. There's, of course, a lot of paperwork with the portfolio pathway, which was previously known as CESR. But there's the luxury of being stationed in your job and then taking it at your own time, your own pace, and having that choice to sort of choose as to what and how do I want to go through the pathway to becoming a consultant, whereas the CCT is a bit more structured, which is really helpful for a lot of people. I don't know what points Raja wants to add, and then we can have a further discussion
Yeah.
around it.
So I would just say that first thing for international graduates to understand that the psychiatry training in UK is generally broken up into two different parts. So this is something a lot of people get confused about. Like for example, if you're coming from Pakistan, they're training 4 or 5 years, directly in FCPS training, and after that, during that you pass FCPS, and as soon as you pass your exam in the final years of your training, you finish your training and you become a consultant. So they sometimes find it difficult to navigate that, why if you pass MRC Psych, why you're not a consultant, what happens. So basically, psychiatry training is broken up into two different parts. There is what we call the core training, which is for 3 years, and then ST training, which is at least for 3 years. You can have more years added if you want dual CCT and stuff like that after that. But what we do, MRC Psych is actually not an exit exam. This is something which we do after the first, during the first 3 years of training, during the core training. So what an international doctor can do, if you're coming from India or Pakistan, if you've done MD or FCPS, and if they've done MRC Psych, so basically they can consider themselves equivalent to a core trainee. At least, they are. I think their knowledge and confidence is above that. But still, at least they can bypass that stage if they pass MRC Psych. So they don't have to do the basic training in psychiatry. And then the question of that you go for ST training or not. So then ST training 3 years for single CCT, which is old age, general adult, or CAMS, LD, forensics, and or medical psychotherapy. Sometimes we have dual programs when you can actually do dual training as well. So I think it's kind of a personal choice if you want to go for training or non-training. People sometimes find in training you have rotation. So for example, if you're doing ST training for 2 3 years, so sorry 3 4 years, you won't be in one place. They will expect you to be rotated between hospital, between different. Even if you are all day psychiatry training, for example, 1 year in one place under one consultant, another year in another place with another consultant. This is not just that you are rotating within the hospital. Sometimes they are within the trust, sometimes within the deanery, sometimes you are actually an hour away from the first placement. So in the training years, they want you to give you that experience, that you experience different teams and understand different setups. So this is something people sometimes find annoying, that I have to move around and I can't stay in one place. If I'm renting a house or bought a house in one place, I have to go to another place. My kids have to move as well and all that. So if you're doing CESR or portfolio pathway, then you can have one job, and you might be just focused on that. But then the responsibility of gathering all the evidence would be on you. Whereas on training years, a lot is actually structured around you. So all you need to do is do your workplace-based assessments, enjoy your time. You have a special interest day, at least one day a week, where you can do whatever you like. You can spend that on research. You can spend that in exploring other interests you have. So it's sort of I don't go into this debate about which is superior, CCT or CSER. I would say it's kind of both are fine, and it's sort of a personal choice. At the end of the day, practically speaking, when you see a consultant in UK, you won't be able to tell if this person came through CSER or CCT, because their confidence level, the way they manage things, and all that would be same. It's just the personal choice of which pathway you want to take, and how much time you want to how much time you want to spend, your priorities and all that.
Yeah. So that's right. You want to add finally anything on this, or Manan?
No, I think I agree. Yeah, it's about that, making that choice as to it would really help. Just to add that pointer, that of course, if this is specifically for people in ANSIPS, then most people would be on the training pathway in psychiatry. But if for the wider audience, for people who've never sort of thought about psychiatry as a career, and those who are looking into delving into that, for you to be able to apply in portfolio pathway, you need to have some sort of training, even if it's international. So if you're, say, moving from India or Pakistan or another country, if you want to go through the portfolio pathway, you need to have some sort of training in psychiatry and need to be able to evidence that, because that will form an integral part of your portfolio and submission. So if you want to start your career off after undergraduate in the UK and want to become a psychiatrist, then I think CCT might be easier and more structured, because then 6 years, bam, you're a consultant. Whereas if you've already done, say, MD, FCPS, or some other undergraduate psychiatry or postgraduate psychiatry course in your home country, then you probably might want to look at a bit of both and then make that choice.